Last one here, Jamal Hill, Dominic.
Oof.
This one's just. I mean,
Oof.
what are we doing here? He is relinquishing his UFC light heavyweight title due to suffering a ruptured Achilles. And Dominic, this was suffered during that basketball game held during International Fight Week. A lot of people talking about how this division feels cursed ever since John
Hmm.
Jones left.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate. I hate it for Jamal Hill. I hated it when Yuri Prohaska had the same similar fate. But Dominic, I am gonna just say that even though this division's in a pretty tough spot with kind of getting that sustainable, championship, not necessarily a run with one person, but like that, you like to see the ebbs and flows, the guys hand
Yes.
off the title. Like
Title
you don't want to see
defensive.
titles being
Yeah.
relinquished or stripped or
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. So even though this division has been struggling to kind of get that consistency, especially with its last two champions both having to do this, I still think that there's a lot of good in this light heavyweight division right
Hmm.
now.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna focus too much like some of the terminology being thrown at this light heavyweight division, I think is a bit unfair. I think it's a bit harsh. It's one thing to say that the actual title picture is like has been a mess since John Jones left. Like these are they're it is reality.
Hmm.
But Dominic, now that you have this vacant title, okay, Jamal Hill, great fighter, took out Glover Teixeira in his last fight. Yuri Prohaska, finished Glover in what was the fight of the year. Then he
Hmm.
had to relinquish his title. Like you had the month before Jamal Hill wins it, you had that main event between Blahovic and Ankalaev that ended in a draw,
Yeah.
and really nobody seemed to like that fight. But let's look at who we have right now, Dominic. You take Jamal Hill out of the picture. Well, Yuri Prohaska appears to be ready to come back. Then
Yep.
you have at the end of the month Jan Blahovic welcoming the former 185-pound champion Alex Pereira. You still have Ankalaev in here. Johnny Walker's surging through
Yeah.
the ranks
Hmm.
right now. Then you have Alexander Rakic coming back.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I look at a lot of these names and I go, Dominic, I think there's a lot of fun to be had here. So even though this is a
Yes.
huge like downer for especially for Jamal Hill, a guy with a lot of promise,
Hmm.
and you saw the emotions pouring from him when he won the title, so I feel for him big time. But I still find myself being optimistic for the future of this division. Are you kind of in a similar boat, or is this not something you really thought about before I kind of brought it up to
No,
you?
I mean, I feel like this past year we've seen the talent and level of fighters in this division be the best it's been in a long time, but it's been clouded by the title relinquishes, the injuries and stuff. That's hovering over a
Right.
lot of good talent and freshness in this division that we haven't had really since. I mean, like before John Jones in DC, honestly, like it's been a long time. So, as Noah just said, all those names, and we're going to get some really good fights. I am optimistic for this division. It sucks for Jamal. You don't see many Achilles injuries for MMA
No.
fighters as well. So I wonder how his recovery will go. Will we get him back to as good as he was? Because he's right in his prime right now. It's a shame. But yeah, Yuri's healthy and ready to come back. A huge fight in 2 weeks. And no, I just want to give you a question. Is there a chance they put the vacant title on the line in 2 weeks with Jan and Alex Pereira?
Is there a chance they do it? I think there's definitely a chance, but I am gonna side with I don't believe that's what's gonna happen.
You think Winter
Um,
versus Yuri for it?
Probably that's
Yeah.
probably what's going to happen. It also wouldn't surprise me if for some reason they decided to do like Yuri versus Ankalaev in Abu
Yeah.
Dhabi.
Yeah. They're fresh. No fights right now. That's true.
But if you asked me like what do I think is going to happen the rest of the year, I think Alex and Pereira go into that fight. It'll be highlighted as like a number one contender bout.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
The winner of that, I believe, will fight Yuri for the title, whether it be at Abu Dhabi or December or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And then I think Ankalaev welcomes back Alexander Rakic, assuming that, of course, Ankalaev is willing to bite that bullet because I don't think he's going to be none too happy if, let's say, Blahovic beats Pereira and gets that title
Mm.
fight.
Oh, he'll be pissed. Yeah.
Yeah, he already was threatening retirement
Yeah,
after
I
the
remember that.
draw. which I still kind of look back on, and I feel like everybody looks at Ankalaev as being like he got robbed in that fight, and I did not remember it being that way. I thought that fight was
No.
like
Yeah.
super close.
Yeah.
So anyways, I guess for you, Dominic, like what let me ask you it like this. When that clock hits January 1st, 2024,
Ooh.
who is going to be the UFC light heavyweight champion?
Ooh. And you can bet on those two. I wonder what the odds would be right now.
Right.
Okay. Who is it gonna be? I kind of almost feel probably stronger than you that they might throw the belt on that in 2 weeks. Maybe not because they're doing the BMF, so that might throw a wrinkle in terms of like how they do the pay-per-view. So we do that. I think, man, there's a lot of fun matchups, huh? Like Yuri versus Alex Pereira, especially is. Whew, that's a fun ass fight. I'll still go with the Samurai Warrior right now and Yuri Prohaska as the champ when the new year strikes.
So you think that fight in 2 weeks will have the title on the line, and the winner of that will fight Yuri by the end of the year, and Yuri takes back his title? Is that the path?
Yeah, or either they are fighting for it and Yuri wins it back, or the winner just fights Yuri for the vacant belt. I think those are the two scenarios. Yeah.
Okay. And I'll ask you another question, another tough one.
Mm-hmm.
Does Jamahal Hill ever win the light heavyweight title again?
Oh, I think he can win the title back. If it's just that injury, man. It's so many ifs. I mean, think he can.
You know, he was definitely kind of fortunate because it was unfortunate for Yuri, of course, what happened to him, but that was something that he benefited from.
Sure.
You know, he took on Glover, who was in his last fight, and you know, if he had been matched up with Yuri Prohaska, who was making like his first title defense, you know, for all we know, Jamahal Hill would have never won the title to begin with.
Yeah.
So, truthfully, Dominic, I don't think we'll see him win that title again. Yeah. And I hate to be that way. Kind of feels like I'm kicking a man while he's down. But I just think this division sort of feels like how I feel about men's flyweight, where I think a lot of these guys are pretty even at the top, and you could see a lot of hot potato. Like, I don't think Yuri Prohaska, even if he feels like the guy who may come out on top in this by the end of the year, I don't view him as like a guy who can be a champion for a long time. I've said this. I think he's too chaotic.
Yeah.
It means he can win on any given night, but he can lose on any given night.
For sure. It's like a lot of these guys. It feels that way almost. I don't know if there's.
It seemed like Ankalaev had the best chance to be like a long-standing champion.
Yeah.
But after some of the holes that Blachowicz exposed, I'm not sure if that's really the case anymore.
I'm really excited to see Rakic get back. If he's healthy and good, I think people sleep on how talented he is. I like this division. It's okay. Don't panic, everybody. It's okay.